I am genuinely speaking to the ghosts of Dresden, right? Right? And I'm saying to you, I don't give a fuck what you think about me, you know. The people who were Aryan, the people who were tall, blonde and human, were all put into a cattle truck, Germans, and taken off and executed. Well, at least forced into a concentration camp or 10. And the reason being, they were conscientious objectors, they were brilliant Germans. So if you kill 1 million conscientious Germans, right, who's passing on their genes? Oh, the shite of the day. Yeah. Then you go back to Africa and murder the original man who wanted to show you. Well, what are we left with? We're left with inbreeding paedophiles, narcissistic psychopaths, and the occasional living Christ who tries to tell you the same fucking thing. Kill anyone who wants to be your AUTHORITAAAH. Right? Remember the phrase? Do you remember it? Hostile dependency. Right? They all depend on you. Gandhi told you, I came to it myself before I found his genius. Right? Just what Jesus said as well. Shun them. Right? If they come at you because they won't accept you shunning them, use the strongest weapon you can get your hands on to fucking execute them. Right? Martin Luther King, when he was quoting Gandhi, said we need to shed their blood if they don't accept what we're fucking doing, the direction we've decided to go in. We don't need that archaic pyramidal shite anymore. We are a united people who are going to try and put aside our divisions, right, and overthrow these insignificant specks of dirt who want to pile shite on top of us to form a shit cone everywhere. There is no jam tomorrow unless you heed what I'm saying, follow this great advice, and we can fucking get there, right? However, religion, you know, mixes that in. Politics, they've duped X amount of people. You know, the paedophile binary dog collar welling imbeciles have duped X amount of people. Celebrity and delusions of narcissism have duped X amount of people. You know, so I know there's a 0.000001% chance that I'm passing on the baton, you know. And, you know, there are other people out there, you know, raising awareness is too slow. It's not fast enough. They are shitting on you from a great height. Right? Every single day that's a moron in a jet going they think they're getting into the bunker with the Zionist Jews. They can think again. They're going to get a fucking shut eye with a bang, right? And so, you've already been genetically mutated, unfortunately, dreadfully and unforgivably. So therefore, you must provide the people behind it with consequence. They are lunatics. They put on a mask, like Berserko Bamplot. However, behind the mask, there's a homosexual paedophile who are uniformly megalomaniacal psychopaths. And the megalomaniac, always, if they're in charge, leads to enormous volumes and wave after wave of shite that baby wants you to clean up, because baby won't be seen by you as Marilyn Monroe. Baby won't be seen by you as Clark Gable. And the reality is, even if you do, baby is incontinent. Baby wants more. Baby wants the moon. Baby wants to stand on the moon. Baby wants to be made of cheese. You know, it's a fucking jabbering spastic. Just cut baby's fucking head off, right? And fuck it in a bin with the rest of the garbage, right? If you'd done that with Hitler, right? Well, somebody else would have come along, cut their head off, put it in the bin. Right? Somebody else would have come along, cut their head off, put it in the bin. How can you tell? I've already told you, fMRI scans. Nobody should be in a decision-making position of any kind unless you brain scan them, because spasmos naturally gravitate towards a decision-making position, so they can abuse it and get away with abusing it. You know, think about the fucking vicar, right? We're all gathered here today in the sight of God to listen to me getting off on conning you, because that proves I've gone more intelligent than you. I'm far more intelligent than you because I've conned you into thinking I'm a very, very special, very caring vicar. And he'll give mass as his front for years, behind which he's looking and that's a vulnerable mother. He's working with the police so he can get that mother sectioned, because they can come round, find something on her, give it to the sociopath work department to take the kid off her, and next thing he's shagging her at the Black Mass, right? And you think to yourself, that's beyond what I can believe. However, it's what happens every fucking week. You know, it's what happens every fucking day, right? Your High Court judges have dungeons with children in them, right? They don't give a fuck about what's going to happen to the species, right? They're renowned for having no function there, which means you can't forward plan, you've no vision, right? You only really live in the here and now for sexual pleasure, and you're a fucking lunatic, right? Right? If you've no moral conscience, right, you have very often you're missing an evolved section of your amygdaloid cortex which will allow you to feel remorse. However, you're not going to feel remorse if you think you're right. Right? You ever met a monkey that said, "Hey, by the way, I know I eat bananas and wank myself off with my own feet, and I actually shag my own son, but I'm starting to think I've gone wrong." Right? No, you never ever get a monkey that will say that to you. And neither did Jimmy Savile during the course of his entire life say, as it happens, I'm a fucking beast and I need hung. Right? So they factor out everything to you. Right? And so you must go to where they are and provide them with brutal, merciless physical consequences. Okay, unite with those around you, don't fight with them, right? Because, you know, that one shagged your cat and he took your lawnmower, and that one's an arsehole and an alcoholic. You share a common enemy, right? Megalomaniacal psychopaths, right? You'll see them everywhere. Hillary Clinton, or to give her correct name, Hitlery Clinton, right? She, right, very, very like the face Ellen DeGenerate pulls, right? They're both lesbians, they're both megalomaniacal psychopaths, and Hillary Clinton is a serial killer who gets off on killing men. And her husband, lovable Billary Clinton, you know, right? Like the lion out of the fucking Wizard of Oz a wee bit. I was just wonderful, a friendly big guy. Right? He's actually a rapist, a serial killer, and a fucking raving lunatic, right? And, you know, think about the logic. You know, Billary shuts the door, and there's his new secretary. He looks at her arse, gets the thought, and must carry it out as far as he's concerned. He's calculated she'll not provide him with consequence, and no one will believe POTUS is a rapist, you know. So he goes up behind her and just pulls her pants down and starts raping her. Not to be outdone, Billary then rips her shirt off and starts biting through her shoulder skin. Right? So that was going to get out because he'd done it quite a few times, right? So what he did was, and it stands to reason, doesn't it? That's reason. What he did was, he bombed Bosnia. Right? It stands to reason, when you're about to be caught for raping repeatedly in the White House, right? You bomb Bosnia. Just naturally follows, you know. And so on page 26 of one section of the Judean Post, well, by the way, Billary's raping lassies and biting through the fucking skin going, but don't worry about that. Page 1, Bosnia's went bam bam, you know, and Hillary Clinton was behind that. Now, as I said, I know 0.0001% of people are getting this transmission. I'm doing my bit, you know, and I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what's right. I'm keeping my promises as usual. And unsurprisingly, I own the promised land, and that's the name of my farm. And I do intend to move to a mountain. So if I can move mountains, you know, you can shift your arse, stop watching mad poofs, and stop obeying made up fucking law. I'm living proof. You can obey every single fucking law that shite make up as they go along. It's all bullshit. They don't obey any of it. None of it at all, right? Go to where they are and fucking hang every single one of them, right? Right? At least brain scan them, and you'll find 90% of them have tiny, tiny, tiny little brains, absolutely minuscule brains, very limited pathology, and when you ask them questions on the clipboard, have you ever had sex with a child? Every single one of them will lie that they haven't, and they have. 90% of your judiciary are paedophiles. 90% of Freemasons, see, they're above the law that you follow, right? Ever since you let them kill your heroes, your leaders, they killed Wallace, right? They killed Jesus, they killed Martin Luther King, your leaders, your moral leaders, who told you, look, it's bloodshed now, it's bloodshed time, or we can't have it, you know. Gandhi said the Zionist Jews should just kill themselves, and I'll tell you this, Aaron Schwartz, right, was a fantastic Jew, and a wonderful guy, and, you know, they hung him, you know, very young guy, just bundled him into a cupboard, and they just hung him, you know. They got off on that, you know, because basically he was a threat to their control, that game that Jesus woke people up to by kicking them up in the fucking air in the temple, saying this is fucking pish, it's all pish, right? All bullshit. Wake up, yeah? Right? They nailed him to a tree. They don't want you to wake up. Think about the fundamental lack of self-awareness when the game you want to win can only be played against people who don't know they're in the game, right? It's like a Hun getting a taxi to the finish line of a marathon and celebrating wildly as they breast the tape in first place when only they know about the marathon, right? And then giving people the fingers, haha, I've won, right? They're lunatics, they don't exist in reality, yeah? They're winning a game only they're in, called genocide, or to put it more accurately, mega death. It's the death of a whole species, and obviously what's left behind are 3-year-old incontinents who think everybody is just going to go along with it. But you already see in China, people are just killing themselves, you know. That's one way to shun them. But how about just going to where they are and fucking executing them, or if they resist, yeah, or if they don't resist, you know, which they will, but if they do, taking them and brain scanning them, you'll see what I'm saying is true, and then providing them with brutal, merciless physical consequence. I'm a living Christ, right? I do what it takes, and the law of the universe, right, rewards you if you're moral. If you're immoral, it punishes you. The difference is, I get rewarded really quickly, and I can prove that evidentially, right? You get punished slowly but surely on account of what it is you are. And the further you are away from Kenya, right, the more shite a person you are. And that's a fact, basically. Genetically, that is. You know, just like, just honking, unself-aware garbage, you know. If you can rob someone, if you can con someone, if you can lie to someone, do somebody a bad turn, give them the worst word in your mouth, pull an ugly face, act out your self-loathing because they don't see you as Zsa Zsa Gabor. Yeah, if you can do that, you always do that. Right? Every single time without exception for eternity, sympathy kills the host. So I can't get far enough away from this species. It's a subspecies, really. Right? I'm really evolved neuroanatomically, and I've met nothing but shite in my entire life. I can count in one hand the people I would meet again, really. And that's, well, I'm over a quarter of a decade through my 5th decade of life. Not bad on it, eh? Morality and vegetarianism, same thing. So, right? Law is made up pish by autistic sex offenders, right? It's all shite. There are some good things in there, but you just dispense with it. Use brain scanning and a fucking clipboard, right? And that gets rid of all these pieces of dirt who are ruthlessly determined to stop you from overthrowing their fucking shite made up game, and all they have to do is feed you narcissistic crap and poison through your fucking letterbox, and that's an end to the matter, right? They are completely and utterly, woefully insane. Their temporal lobes are fucked, the front of their brain's fucked, and the older they get, the more fucked their brain gets until they degenerate to fuck all, right? So what I'm saying to you is they are cream crackers, right? They are fucking cuckoo, right? And you cannot have sex with a child if you're a 50-year-old guy without needing your head cut off, right? And it doesn't matter a fuck what they think about me. Jesus, you know, decided fuck what these people think about me. I'm going into the temple with a fucking bullwhip, yeah? Right? Gandhi said, fuck what these people think about me, you know, fuck them. Yeah, your shit's garbage, you wee dicks, yeah? So, Martin Luther King went, I have a dream. I might not get there with you, but I'm not fearing anybody. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Right? And that's quite a declaration of not giving a fuck what garbage who are rotten to the core think or pretend to think when they're pointing their stubby fucking shit-stained finger at you with 3 crooked talons pointing back at themselves and the mountain of evil deeds that are going to go with them to weight them to the depths of hell in their next generation. And here's the punchline. They're in a glass house throwing stones from within a glass house. And I'm standing surrounded by boulders. Yeah, and so are you. When it comes to these pieces of fucking shit, it's not power, right? You are important. Yeah, you're not important sitting making fart noises on a couch, you know. Yeah, you're not important watching paedophiles making kids cry on the television. They believe they've demoralised you to that extent. Demoralisation, demotivation, yeah. You're not important like that. They want you to feel impotent because they're impotent unless they're getting it up a fucking kid's arse, right? And then eating the child, right? Starving the children to death, going, we can do whatever we want, we've gone brilliant, this is... Right? They are lunatics, they are garbage, they pride themselves on going to hell. They pride themselves on needing shot. Their special talents are being full of shit whilst needing shot in the face. You know, that's some really special talent, that, isn't it? Being full of shit whilst needing shot in the fucking face. And if you don't, they think it's because you can't. Because if they can, they always will. Right? Every single time without exception for eternity. You weren't that funny tonight. I want my money back so I can buy another bum monkey. Fuck you and your bum monkey. Fuck off back to your poison potato divisions, you little shit. So, here's the thing. Right? Law is made up, pish.
You've already just said that.
Right. So, you don't need it anymore. And you must rid yourself of your police farce, yeah, your sociopath work department, your binary dog collar wearing fucking fake hedge priests and so on, right? And it's really, really simple. Local village circles. Just like you had with Babakoto and... Right? Start there. One old gent and one old lady in every street, right? Because what you'll find is this, right? Say a small town of 3,000, right? Right? In every small town of 3,000 people, right? And in Altox, for example, they donate £500,000 to their local council. And their local council is really quite simple. It just receives delivery of stationery. Predominantly red ink. Right? And in a nutshell, you don't get 1 penny of it, right? Or the odd token gesture and that's it. The rest goes to local landed paedophiles, right? And Jack McConnell's departing speech tells you that. He was there for at least 10 years, right? And he never got 1 penny for his constituency. Not 1 penny. And he kept asking for it for 10 years and they kept patting him on the head saying no. Because he accepted that for 10 years, they then made him Premier of Scotland, right? Where he continued to remain from that constituency, and even as the President or fucking Prime Minister or Premier of the whole of Scotland, he still didn't get 1 pence to spend on his fucking constituency. Where was it? Right? Unfortunately, the place where I spent my adult life, really, called Pishy Wishy, right? If you are the Premier of Scotland, you're not allowed 1 pence allowed, right? By a bunch of fucking paedophile scumbags. It's what he said when he left. That's his biggest regret, that he wasn't allowed 1 pence. You're giving, from every town of 3,000 people, £500,000 to your local council who are all in a fucking pyramid funding paedophiles. It's apocalypto, yeah? Picture being the fucking Prime Minister of the whole country, right? And you're not allowed 1 pence to spend on your fucking area. Just token gestures. And you could walk through Pishy Wishaw, or it's called Wishaw, right? Even the railings must be half size. It's a joke. Everything's a joke on you. They are fucking garbage. If you did 0.001% to them of what they do to you constantly, they would be fucking fuming with rage, right? Go to where they are and fucking execute them, right? Right? What I'm saying is, one old lady and one old man, you dispense with your corrupt council where the money goes to those who are hostile dependents who you don't need, right? Imagine that. You get fucking enormous volumes of harm coming to you if you don't go along with those who depend on you, right? You don't need them. They are a paedophile ring of warmongering, genocidal maniacs who murder and oppress you for pleasure, and because they want what they think you might then have. And you've already got this great brain, so they've got this wee chicken's brain, and they want to carry on fucking kids and you won't let them. How can they afford to have kids shipped in from Kenya if you have a fair share of what it is you're actually paying those stupid fucking pieces of garbage to steal from you? And it fucking trickles into all these arseholes' mouths, all the way down to your local fucking landed paedophile rings, the people you can only ever meet at a distance on a train as you travel through areas you only ever see with cattle who they consider to be a higher form of life than you, as their house is that thing you see far in the distance on the fucking brow of a hill, and they're the lower caste of that fucking landed shite who promised the incumbent, for example in Scotland it's they call themselves Protestants. They're not, they're Celts, they're the most inbred Celts of all, and they promise them jam tomorrow and tell them the odd secret and give them the odd token gesture. It's just like a bigger example of the council, and that's enough to make those idiots believe they're in one. However, then the fucking scum see the Catholics, who are meant to be the second class citizens, laughing and smiling, and they think, fuck, when am I getting my jam? I'm a miserable cunt. There's those Catholics laughing with nothing, you know, and they don't know the secrets that we know on them. You know, they're not in one and up one in an imaginary shitcone. And this is what keeps country after country oppressed by paedophile rings. The paedophile promises the imbeciles who are incumbent that they're in one and up one in an imaginary shitcoin, so they can delude themselves narcissistically that they are being privileged with promises of jam tomorrow that never come, ever. And the odd token gesture that will keep them quiet for a while longer, whilst their sons and daughters are taken and thrown into the jaws of death. And they're then consumed with what you could call racism towards people who are meant to be the outcast, second-class citizen. And I saw it more clearly when I came to Lagutrop, where the people are remarkably inbred, and they're dwarfs with square heads, and they're rooted, raging, megalomaniacal psychopaths. They're much more megalomaniacal than even in Denal talks. However, they're actually nicer people in some ways as well. However, they're even more primitive in certain other ways. So you have these different mutations of psychopathy and functions, but the long and the short of it is that there's no getting away from, like in Bulgaria and in Greece and in provincial areas of Spain and Italy, there's this determination to delude yourself. So I take you back to Dresden.
Right, fuck. I need to go and get a poisoned potato variation.
Alright, right. So I take you back to Dresden, right? And I'm talking to the ghosts of Dresden. The ghosts of Dresden are saying to me, I don't give a fuck what you say about him, mate. Right? Or to put it more accurately, I do not give a fuck what you say about anything, my friend. What? Right? Right, so, however, you know, I know what's coming, right? You've been narcissistically groomed, right? And what does a paedophile vicar call the husband to be? And
I don't know.
So, you've been narcissistically groomed for World War III. You've been promised jam tomorrow. You've been narcissistically enraged. You're passing that into each other's lives. You've been implanted by all the people your ancestors would have taken to a river and drowned or burned. And you are degenerate to an extraordinary extent. And it's inevitable that you're getting World War III, but before it happens, you're being, just in case it doesn't come to pass, you're being irradiated constantly and just sitting there while it's happening. You know, when if you had something spilling in your living room, you would go to where it is and erect it, remedy it, deal with it, but you have incontinent lunatics behind that happening, right? And you're just sitting there watching square-headed poofs squashing the life out of any kind of artistic nourishment of your soul, telling children to cry. And see Myra Hindley and her 8-track tape collection. And the point being, get off your arse, unite with as many people as possible, go to where they are, and if all this comes to pass, yeah, and you don't end up being torn to pieces, right, and blown to pieces because people as stupid as you need to be carpet bombed to acknowledge how stupid you are, right? Think about how stupid you'd have to be carpet bombed to acknowledge that you talk utter shite. That's your idea of intelligence, for as long as you're not provided with consequence, right? It's coming and it's all around you. Remember, I'm rewarded quickly, and it's just, I'm not asking for reward. It just keeps coming in, However, you're punished slowly, but surely. And I absolutely assure you, it's for eternity. Right? Pretty big one to get wrong, that gamble, isn't it? And what they're pushing. I'll expose it in Erol on Twitter. They're pushing the idea of atheism. It doesn't get more stupid than being atheist, really. Really. Yeah. And even if you are atheist, right? A theist who doesn't believe in atheism, who believes in a belief in nothing, and would defend that to the end, funnily enough. Yeah, it's funny, defending to the end a belief in nothing, and you're against theism but you believe in atheism. I could go on. Suffice to say, some very aggressive people coming from the shite house who support that one, and who are determined that you think more and more immorally. They're insane, subhuman garbage who are absolutely determined, and for their determination they deserve an axe through their fucking head. Right? So I'm telling you, Saint Mel Gibson, right? Bram Stoker, Jesus of Nazareth, another living Christ, right? Martin Luther King, they all told you the same thing. Malcolm X said, it's not violence, that's a word psychopaths have invented, it's intelligence, because it's self-defense. Right? Go to where they are and fucking kill them, right? For the love of the passion of the Christ, swing away.
It wasn't that funny tonight, but